you.
Make us some coffee.
All right, thank you. Everybody, I'm Jeremy from Blossom Coffee, and we make the world's best coffee machine. I'd like to tell you a story about my friend Ben. Ben runs Thousand Faces Roastery out of Athens, Georgia, and he wins awards for roasting some of the best coffees in the world. Ben goes so far as to travel to origins like Ethiopia and Kenya in order to source green coffee direct from the farmer. He brings it back to his cafe in Georgia, roasts it and brews it, and you can walk into Thousand Faces Coffee and drink a perfect coffee any day of the week. Let's see how Ben does this. When he's brewing his coffee, he's looking at 4 key variables. He's looking at the temperature of the water, temperature of water, ratio of coffee to water, grind size, and brew time. Because Ben has years of experience, he's able to dial in these variables just perfect. But he sells his coffees more than just to his own cafe. They also go to wholesale accounts. Sometimes wholesale accounts get a line out the door, and Ben's not there to make sure his coffee is still being brewed perfectly. You can also buy a bag of Ben's coffee, and you're not even necessarily using the same equipment he is. And if you're not using the same brew recipe he does, if you're not brewing it just like he does, it could taste sour and bitter, and all that hard work he spends going to Ethiopia and Kenya is wasted. This is really amazing to me because Ben's not alone. There are specialty coffee roasters all over the world who are opening up and differentiating themselves from chains like Starbucks and Peet's on one simple premise: our coffee tastes better. That's their calling card. Our coffee tastes better. So what are we going to do? What is this industry going to do when you can't control the quality and the core differentiating principle as soon as the coffee leaves the cafe? We have the answer. It's the Blossom 1. Let's show you how this thing works. This is a diagram of our patented brew chamber unit technology, where we can control coffee to water ratio very precisely. We have 99% accuracy on portioning water. Steep time is controlled precisely through the plunger, filter, and valve. Grind size is prompted to the user so they can get it right every single time. And our temperature control, that's the most fascinating part. We measure the temperature of the coffee while it brews, and we conduct heat through the walls of the brew chamber unit to make sure that you're maintaining the absolute perfect temperature for the full duration of the brew. We actually have the tightest temperature control ever put in a coffee brewing machine. We're within plus or minus 1 degree Fahrenheit. The next closest that has ever existed was a machine called the Clover, and that machine was 4 times worse. It was plus or minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit. In our testing, we found as little as 2 degrees Fahrenheit is the difference that anyone can taste. Not just crazy coffee geeks like me, but anybody can tell the difference with as little as 2 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is the Blossom 1. Great hardware isn't enough to solve this problem. You also need to know how to brew the coffee right. That's why every single machine is connected to the internet. Not just because we're a Silicon Valley startup, but because it makes it easier to brew that perfect cup of coffee. Let's show you how this looks. This is the Blossom web application. Oh, God. Right? So, every time Ben brews a coffee on his machine, it posts to his recent brews. If he likes that coffee, he saves it into his saved favorites. Coffee roasters have hundreds of saved favorites. They always want to know how to do it perfectly. However, when these machines go into cafes, they need to brew fast and quick, get those customers out the door. That's why you can load from your saved favorites direct to the machine. So a coffee roaster can be off in a brew lab, move from saved favorites to loaded, and its baristas are always brewing coffee perfectly. You can also show a little bit more detail on a cup of coffee. Ben shares things like the origin, tasting notes. Coffee geeks like me can get in there and see exactly what temperature and ratios he's using. I can comment on it and share it with friends. But let's say you're not a crazy coffee geek like me and Ben, and you just want to buy a bag of coffee and brew it perfectly in your home. You can do that too, because you can print out QR codes and paste them to the bags of coffee that tie you direct to the perfect recipe for that coffee. So if it's groggy in the morning, you haven't really opened your eyes yet, don't worry about it. Scan the bag and hit go, and it'll taste just like Ben is there brewing it for you. And that is Blossom Coffee, and that is what makes Ben so happy. That's why he's smiling in this picture, also because he won the Good Food Awards for his coffee. But now his coffee can taste perfectly no matter where it goes. And it's not only Ben, it's every specialty cafe. So, available for pre-order now, deliveries in May. Contact sales or founders at blossomcoffee.com, depending on what you're interested in. Thank you.
Wow. 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 How much is this machine? Just
Try some coffee.
What is that?
Can we sample the coffee?
Yes, you can come by our demo pit and we'll brew you some coffee.
All right. How much is this machine? Just to give us a concept.
Other commercial brewers of this caliber are $4,000 and up, is what we've seen. Our product is competitively priced. There's multiple options. So contact sales at Blossom Coffee and we'll...
You know, at Rackspace in San Francisco, we have a couple of these kinds of machines because they're good recruiting tools for engineers. They like their coffee, and a lot of them are coffee geeks, right?
Yep.
How many people are coffee geeks in this room?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
all right.
So this is a recruiting tool for startups. So that's why you're here, right?
Absolutely.
I interviewed the head of Nescafe, and he said he went to Italy to study great coffee, and he found that the really great ones figured out how to get just the right amount of air into the coffee. And I bet that's what Ben's doing too, is to get to the next level of coffee beyond what I can do at home, is to get just the right mixture. When you go to a great place in Seattle or whatnot, it always has just the right amount of foam on it, and the foam really does matter to the taste of the coffee. How do you help me, a normal guy who is not a barista, make that kind of coffee?
Well, Ben can set his brew recipe on the machine, loads the perfect temperature profile, also loads the perfect amount of water, prompts you with how much coffee to put in, and you can hit go and the machine will run the program. So we're making brewed coffees. So it's a full cup of coffee, so single origins show really well with this brew method. We're not making espresso yet.
Okay.
What's the cost?
Sorry?
What's the cost of the machine?
$4,000 and up.
Yeah.
And
So
then what's
it's
the
price.
rest of
It's
the
price.
business
It's
model?
good for Rackspace or something.
When does it come down to, mortals and just regular folk who are not coffee geeks so they can start experiencing this, and maybe then you transition them on? Do you envision, what would this cost 2 years from now? If you
In 2
sell
years, I'd like it to
1,000.
cost less than $200.
So from $4,000 to $200.
I want to redesign and create a consumer-facing product.
Wow.
Right now, we're commercial-facing, and the reason for that is because these commercial cafes have the absolute best coffees and best recipes. So we want to start the system with the best quality there is.
So,
Greg, what do you think? I mean, you just dropped your face into your hands at one point. What was that about?
Have you ever received any feedback that your product might be overbuilt?
Well, I'd like to direct you to how we're controlling temperature more precisely than has ever before been possible. And so people don't even really know where the end of the rabbit hole is. And that's why we're starting with this first product. We are going all out. We're creating the best possible temperature control, precision control around each variable. We're answering these questions about coffee.
But it's like the Tesla Roadster.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Tesla
Right,
Roadster
but
coffee,
so the question is, what's the Model S?
Yeah,
right.
that's
Like
the
what?
Model S.
This may not be the coffee machine of the year because it's too far out there in price. But can you get to that $200? What do you need to get to the $200, $300, $400 machine?
I think maybe what Greg is getting at is most of the market may not care that much about a couple degrees difference, and I do think the challenge you have, because you can walk into a Williams and Sonoma or a high-end kitchen supply place and see lots of really fancy, really expensive coffee makers.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to communicate why this really makes better coffee. You say it makes better coffee, but the company I would think you might want to look at is Dyson with the vacuum cleaners and everything. I mean, they took a product that people have had for 100 years and have been very successful actually with multiple products.
They reinvented it, yeah.
Yeah.
Reinvented the category.
And so I don't think it's impossible you can create a new coffee maker, but you're taking a very, very established category.
Andy, what's your approach with a product like this hardware? I mean, as an investor, does hardware like this make you scared, or does the success of Jawbone and other folks?
Well, this isn't
you.
quite comparable. I mean, this is really aimed at somebody like my brother who wants to have a premium offering in his bar, and offer a better product than his competitor across the street, right?
What do you think as an investor, Andy?
The hardware is a start, but I want to know where the rest of the business model. If you really look at those who have succeeded in this market, it goes beyond that single purchase. I'd take a look at Blendtec and what they did with the blenders in the Jamba Juice and those sort of retailers, and it's all based on performance. You're leasing that equipment out. There's a much bigger play for that, and if you're going to have a premium product, then it still gives you a lower barrier to entry and much more.
And I've talked to Blendtec. They had very deep social proof of what it did for the businesses that it got sold into, that they could make 33% more per hour, or that they saved cost, or they did something that they were able to perform for their customer that they couldn't with a competitive product.
Great. Okay, let's
cool, though.
hear it from Blossom Coffee.
Cool.
Thank you.